Yeah. All right, so I'm going to be drive you to a little bit of specificity here as we go to kind of the second facet, which is technology development and deployment, because you are an entrepreneur out there bringing new tech to the island in the form of your drone technology company. So I thought it was pretty interesting and amazing to me to hear kind of how you developed your use case and value proposition for the drone delivery emerging out of the pandemic, and you saw a broader need, and you saw drone technology as a potential solution for that. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, not just for Guam, but also the outer islands.
No, absolutely. And that's exactly the way it happened. One of the things that during the pandemic that we were trying to help out different families throughout the island, and as we took the journey to deliver some of these goods that they were requesting, because they didn't have the means to be able to go out and purchase, because maybe they didn't have any gas or via a running vehicle, and we were on the journey to make these deliveries. One of the things that I try to look at things, and maybe it's a fault of mine, but I look into things and I try to size them up from an efficiency standpoint. And being able to make these deliveries were very deep into the villages. And in my mind, I was saying, well, what happens if this road gets cut off? What happens to all these families that are living deep into these villages? So with that being said, I just couldn't get it out of my head, out of my thinking process. So my co-founder, Perla, she is in the aviation
Shout out
side,
to Perla.
and yep, and she's on the aviation side, and I'm on the logistics supply chain. So we were able to merge these ideas together, and we started really doing research, and we saw the evolution of how drones were really playing an integral part throughout the world, for what it stood at that point. And it's advanced in 4 years. It's advanced so much. I mean, it's beyond. I mean, obviously, we've seen it advance in war fighting as well. But when it
Yeah.
comes to everyday life, that's going to become an everyday life thing. We're going to start getting deliveries via drones, and that's going to be an evolution that's going to happen. But when we started also going out to the outer islands, when we started going down to FSM, we started going down to Palau, we started seeing that these outer islands, they also had islands that only had 200, 300 people. And one of the things that we wanted to do was, again, take a look at it and see exactly, are they getting the necessities that they need to be able to live healthy?
Mm.
Or do they have, are they getting health products to be able to survive? Uh, things as easy as Tylenol. Are they getting Tylenol? Are they getting these things that are able to fight diseases? So one of the things that we also saw as those applications is how do we create a network of deliveries to be able to sustain these economic developments within these smaller islands, so that not only can they prosper, but they're also getting the necessities to be able to live there and prosper. And so to
Yeah.
us, that was a huge, huge thing. And so that's been going on it's been evolving because the technologies continue to evolve. Working with, a good friend, our good friend, Bob Kelly, and, he's been wanting to really, he's been, from the day that we started talking about drones as well. I mean, he's been thinking about these drones that are coming in line. They're definitely coming in line, but they almost look like container size type drones where they can carry thousands and thousands of pounds for delivery, and it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. But in the short term, we wanted to be able to understand the infrastructure that we needed to create in order to move forward. One of the things that we quickly saw about developing these initiatives with the drone industry was the fact that we didn't have enough, not a lot of pilots were certified. So we've been going out and certifying pilots. The one thing that I do want to mention as well, Rob, is that I'm also the CEO of a company called EcoFly. And EcoFly and Bella Wings Aviation has come together. And so the dynamics of what EcoFly brings to the table is absolutely amazing, because they have and we have one of the best Part 107 FAA certification programs in the region. So we've been
Mm.
training a lot of pilots, and then the what they EcoFly, and what we do also is we cater to the construction industry as well. So that's another aspect of like the information, the data sets, the lidar, topographic, photogrammetry, orthomosaic. I mean, everything that's involved in the construction industry that was being done manually, or the utilization of helicopters and planes. Well, we're doing them with drones now, and that has completely changed the dynamics of being able to collect these data sets. So again, the evolution of the drone industry is really moving forward. One day, I will tell you that we will have drones that move people. They're being developed. The
Mm.
infrastructure, but the one thing that I wanted to focus on, going back to being able to get more pilots, is getting the communities to understand that this is the direction that we're going to move forward in the most efficient way. Because at some point, it's not only going to be drones that are be making deliveries to all these different islands, but we're also going to be transporting people utilizing drones as well. These drone pods that are coming in line. So imagine, for us to take, it takes us 35 to 40 minutes to drive down south. If there's an emergency, we send a drone pod, we pick up the patient, we can fly back to GMH or GRMC or the Naval Hospital within 5 to 10 minutes via
Yeah,
air. So
yeah, I
that
really
is
like
sort of
that idea. I really like that idea. I know Bob Kelly is very passionate about that, but that is a very great use of technology to solve a real world specific Guam problem about how do you get to one side of the island to the other in a case of emergency so that you can stabilize a patient and get that patient to follow on care. And, the idea of even a one person um, uh, drone to be able
transport.
to
Yeah.
fly an EMS technician out so to stabilize the patient, put the patient onto the drone, fly the patient back to GMH within would be 5 or 10 minutes, really, where if you were trying to do it over the roads, it might be 20, 25 minutes in order to do that, and then have them land and receive their follow-on care. I think that's a great model there.
No, absolutely. And with the search and rescue as well, right? Every second counts. The
Yes,
deployment of drones to be able to search people who have gone over uh, the reef, or
yes,
that have been lost and hiking. Those type of things. Those use cases are, I mean, they're live and they're ready. I mean, right now we can do them, and it's the utilization of that technology that's going to be able to save lives moving forward. And then the other thing about the drone pods and the ability to be able to move people via drones is the fact that the other part that hopefully, and the one thing that I really concentrated is the being able to bridge all our villages together. And because we
yes,
still do have families that don't have cars, or they may have one car per family. And so if you live down south, or if you live up north, and most of the jobs are concentrated in the central part of the island, how can they go to work? Right? I mean, we don't have a good mass transit system. And so to me, that's very important. Anything that would allow us to be able to bridge those gaps, again, bridging those gaps where being able to sustain folks that are very deep in the village and they don't have means to be able to get goods. Well, now we can. Being able to transport them, to be able to transport them to they can have jobs in the central area. And if they don't have vehicles, this could be a solution for the problem that we have. And again, going back to your first question of the podcast is, to me, innovation is being able to come up with solutions for problems that we have. And again, it's sky's the limit when we think that way.
absolutely, absolutely.